In this video, I'm going to take you through the key aspects and elements that you need to be aware of ahead of your ACCA March 2024 SBL examination, and we're going through in this video the pre-seen information for Athletic Transcentral. If you'd like access to these notes, as always, I've put the link in the description of this video for you to download them, and you'll also find down there some Astranti links that I'm affiliated with, and as always, in case you've not seen any of my other videos, I would gain a small percentage that helps to contribute to running the YouTube channel if you purchase, say, one of their mock exams. But as always, they give a 7-day money-back guarantee, and that's why I put them on the videos to help you guys out if you want a mock exam doing or to do a course, whatever it may be. But let's get straight into it now. Going through the first elements, again, you can follow it through if you've got these notes downloaded yourself. But if I was in your shoes, remember this is just part one. If you've got the contents page, as you can see on the left-hand side, I'd be breaking it down, if I was in your shoes, into those 5 different elements. And you've either going to have to use some like flashcards or maybe Excel, pen and paper if you wanted to, just so that if you had to picture which element the point that you're trying to make or the bit of information you're trying to refer back to, that's how I would break up first of all and use the contents page as a reference for that. I've also put a couple of notes down at the bottom: agency theory, stakeholder theory, CSR. These areas, they're not going to just ask you in the exam about those key terms, but you could definitely embed them into your answer because they are part of the SBL syllabus and lots of students overlook them. So make sure you get those down in your notes. Now, what stood out for me in the first part for the short and sweet introduction? Well, as we go through this, all the key elements are underlined in red for the key terms. And again, if you've got the notes, you don't have to bother taking it down. But it's a case of what would I be wanting to know if I was in your position for Athletic Transcentral? Well, this is a football club, as you can see on here. It was founded in 1895. We find out about that later on. But it's really just to say it's established. It's not just a football club that has been bought out and maybe just founded recently on there. But the key bit for your notes that I'd be definitely referring to in my answers, because you could link it in one way or another, is you see how I've got sole objective underlined there, because we have the Athletic Transcentral company that operates the football club, and what they're saying there is their sole objective is just to run the football club. So if we get something on the exam day in the unseen information, and it's something to do with the company for Athletic Transcentral who run the football club, and they end up doing something else, or they're diverging away from the football activities or the sustainability of the football club, well, you can pop it in your answers to say, hang on a second, this goes against the sole objective of what Athletic Transcentral company and the football club should be looking to actually achieve on there. This is where it says in the past they've been successful, but they've been struggling in recent times and not sort of keeping up with some of the other leading clubs. So in essence, the overview I would be having in my mind is they were at the sort of top of the league. We know further on that they'd actually won cups, they'd won leagues, but now the league position, they've gone from sort of 5th to 6th to 8th. They're on a downward trajectory, and you'll see that also in the profitability figures at the end, where their relevant earnings are actually dropping as well. But these are just things that you should be having in the back of your mind to help you out before the examination. And as we touched on there, it is a single entity, both the company and the football operating as one. When it comes to the football sector in part 2, this is where I do apologise if anyone is not into football doing the SBL exam, but these are the cards that we are dealt. Generally speaking, it's a case of you've got to get familiar with the sector. If you're unfamiliar with football, how it works, teams getting 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and obviously nothing if they lose. It's a professional sport where they pay players a full-time wage, and especially at the men's league, the wages and the bonuses are absolutely astronomical. But it's also interesting from a stakeholder point of view. They talked about recreational levels, so that is fun football, no matter what age, the community involved. So again, could come into a stakeholder theory, bit of analysis you could also link in your answer. Then we have professional clubs in Kyland on here. Again, I've touched on, I'm not going to go through everything on here, but you need to know about the football industry, how it works, academies, And the key bit here is there are 5 professional clubs who have their own academies. And this is where we are not given any information to say that actually Athletic Transcentral are one of the 5 professional clubs that actually have an academy. It's one of their competitors on there. Now, why is that important? What it means is that if you bring up a player through your academy, they sit on your balance sheet at 0 on there. So when it comes to financial fair play, and you were to maybe sell some academy players, that gives you a positive income as a result, or positive revenue for financial fair play. So if you've got 5 of the 18 clubs who are bringing up good talent in their academies and selling them on to other clubs, they're going to be in a net positive position as a result. So you're going, hang on a second, good grief, that means that Athletic Transcentral are already at a disadvantage on here. Athletic Transcentral has a reserve and under 18 team, as we said, but no academy to actually fulfill those places for reserve and under 18 players. So again, you could see that as an opportunity. You could see that as a potential threat that the other companies, other clubs have got these academies on there, and it's actually a point that differentiates them and separates them apart. When it comes to, and again, I always look at what do I see from the pre-seed materials, and when you see a line like the most important driver of profitability for professional football clubs is the performance of their men's teams. So again, that'll be another thing that I'd have down in my notes, that in terms of performance of the men's team for Athletic Transcentral, it's on a downward trajectory with increasing costs. They're not performing like they used to. Just some background information again on the actual football league for KFL. There are 18 teams, so 54 in total, 3 divisions for the men's. The league runs August to May, but we're told later on at the end of the piece here for the pre-seed materials that it has a May year end. I was sort of worried about seasonal revenue, or maybe I'd be thinking, who knows, they might pull in some sort of cut-off issue at the end, maybe revenue recognition on there. When it comes to relegation, again, if you're not familiar with football, if you're in Division 1, you can get relegated to Division 2 and Division 3 in this case. And that can be either because the team doesn't perform well, or KFL has regulations about financial misconduct and breaches that if you don't adhere to the rules, then you could be relegated, which is going to have a massive impact on your income on there. In other words, the higher in the league that you actually finish, the more exposure you get to both national and international revenue streams, and that is going to lead to increased sponsorship and television deals and a variety of other forms like the club shop sales on that. So in other words, the better the men's teams perform, the better they actually do. In terms of Division 1 then, we have on here that KFL have supporters in Kylan and also around the world. So you've got global factors on there. How much are Athletic Transcentral utilising that? Maybe we're going to have on the unseen information on the exam day more information on those global factors. But the flip side of that is what we're told later on is the media love to find new stories about football clubs and could it affect the brand image of the club going forward globally on there. We're also given, just sticking to the first part now, the sort of domestic cup, international competitions, other teams and the industry body. The only things I've really highlighted on there is for an international competition, the top 3 teams in Division 1 also play in the international league, and that's with other countries in WOSHIA on there, and it's all about earning more revenue. Well, they are not. Athletic Transcentral are not one of the top 3 teams in Division 1 on there. They finish 5th, then 6th, then 8th. So again, it's again another opportunity. How can they close the gap on there? What are they missing out on? And that extra revenue stream internationally with a higher league is something on there. We also have a sort of women's team on there and a reserve team as well for other competitions, 36 teams in total. But the women's team later on, we're told, actually has lower attendance figures on there. We could get some more information as to the domestic cup competitions they're in, the reserve and under 18 teams as well. Some more information will be given about the team because they're either going to perform better or worse. And lastly, for this one on here for your notes, so that part 1 is going to be the background of football on here, But the thing that could be thrown into the mix is the industry body. So this is where you have KFL, a governing body on here by the Kylan Football Association. And this is where, for your notes, it's really, really important. You can say, including financial fair play regulations, and that the clubs follow generally accepted corporate governance best practice on there. So are the clubs operating ethically? Are they adhering to financial fair play? So that's looking at their actual relevant income compared to their relevant expenses on there. And that is where we'll come on to it in the next video. So if you've got any questions about the football industry that you've seen in the first part here, or if you've got any other questions about the pre-C materials, just leave me a comment below. I've also put at the top some more videos now so that you can click those. It's going to take you to the playlist so you can watch some more, and be sure to like and subscribe so you can access more of the videos on there. But if you'd like the notes, as always, click the link in the description, and I'll see you on the other side now for part 2. So best of luck.